You check your phone again. Nothing new? You scroll anyway. There's a specific ache in your chest right now, and you've probably felt it 100 times before. You call it loneliness, but that word is hiding something much older and much stranger. That feeling isn't an emotion. Not really. It's an alarm. Your brain built it millions of years ago for one reason: to keep you from dying alone. Think about what your body does when you're hungry. It doesn't whisper a suggestion. It screams. It floods you with discomfort until you fix the problem. Loneliness works the exact same way. It's not sadness. It's a biological siren wired into you before language even existed, telling you that you have drifted too far from the group. And for most of human history, drifting from the group didn't mean a quiet night in. It meant death. Here's why. For nearly all of the roughly 300,000 years modern humans have existed, survival was never a solo project. You couldn't outrun a lion by yourself. You couldn't defend a camp by yourself. You couldn't raise a child by yourself, watch for predators at night by yourself, or carry water, food, and firewood across a landscape by yourself. A human alone on the savannah wasn't independent. A human alone was prey. So evolution did what it always does. It built an alarm system. The neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent decades studying this exact mechanism. He found that loneliness isn't just an unpleasant mood sitting on top of your day. It's a physiological state, as real and measurable as thirst. When you feel disconnected, your body raises cortisol. Your blood pressure climbs. Your immune system shifts into a defensive posture, as if it's bracing for an injury that hasn't happened yet. Cacioppo called this the loneliness effect, and he showed it wasn't just uncomfortable. Prolonged loneliness was linked to health risks comparable to smoking or obesity. Why would a feeling do that to your body? Because your ancestors' bodies weren't preparing for a bad mood. They were preparing for danger. If you were cut off from the group, an injury might go untreated. A predator might catch you unwatched. Your immune system ramped up because being alone for most of human history meant you were about to get hurt with no one to help you heal. Your body still doesn't know the difference between 60,000 BCE and right now. It just knows you feel far from your people, and it's still preparing for the worst. But maybe you're picturing your ancient ancestors as toughened loners who could survive anything alone. That's not what the evidence shows. Quite the opposite. The psychologist Harry Harlow ran a series of experiments in the 1950s that, decades later, still shape how we understand this. He separated infant monkeys from their mothers and gave them 2 artificial replacements. One was made of bare wire but dispensed milk. The other was covered in soft cloth but offered no food at all. Logic says the babies should have clung to the one that fed them. They didn't. They clung to the soft cloth mother for comfort and only left it briefly, out of necessity, to feed from the wire one. Connection wasn't a bonus feature layered on top of survival. It was survival. Isolated monkeys, even when perfectly fed and physically safe, developed severe anxiety, withdrawal, and long-term social dysfunction. Being alone didn't just feel bad to them. It broke something. You are not so different. The anthropologist Robin Dunbar took this a step further and asked a different question. Not just why loneliness hurts, but how many people your brain is even built to bond with. Studying primate brain sizes against group sizes, Dunbar proposed that the human brain evolved to comfortably track relationships with around 150 people. Not more. That number, now known as Dunbar's number, wasn't random. It matched the size of hunter-gatherer bands and early villages almost perfectly. Your brain, in other words, was custom-built for a small, tight, interdependent group. Not a city of millions, not a feed of thousands of strangers. So what happens when you live in a world that gives you thousands of connections, but almost none of the closeness your brain is actually asking for? The alarm goes off anyway. You can have 800 followers and still feel the exact same ancient signal your ancestors felt when they were separated from their tribe at dusk with no fire and no weapon. Your brain doesn't measure how many people know your name. It measures how many people would come looking for you if you didn't come home. That's an unsettling thought, isn't it? Modern life is strange this way. You are more connected by numbers than any generation in history. And yet loneliness is being reported at record levels across nearly every country tracked. Public health researchers have started calling it an epidemic. not a mood. Not because people have fewer contacts, because people have fewer of the deep, dependable checking on you kind of.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।